So I'm here with Keanan Patershuk. Is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yes, sir. You nailed it.
Right. And he is fighting Kyle Dawkins for the CFFC Middleweight Championship at in Philadelphia, the 2300 Arena, on Friday, June 14th.
Yes.
And so, Keenan, how has your training camp been going?
Oh man, it's been bulletproof. It's awesome. I've been down at Warrior Camp in Spokane, Washington, for the last 2 weeks. Um, Everything's feeling awesome. Everything from my strength and conditioning, my cardio's nuts. My grappling feels bulletproof, and I'm hitting hard. Yeah, no, everything feels great.
And so, what does it mean to you to be a part of this event, especially main eventing CFFC 132?
I'm super grateful for the opportunity, man. Not only from Cage Fury, but from Kyle. You know, he's got a lot more risk fighting a guy who's 5-1 and on the up and coming. You know, for regional fights. So yeah, I really appreciate the opportunity. I'm super excited to test myself.
And what has been your inspiration going into this contest?
Pardon me, sorry.
What has been your inspiration going into this contest?
My biggest inspiration, I'd have to say my wife, man. She's my number one supporter. Like I said, I've been down here for 2 weeks. We have 3 kids, and she's holding everything down on her own right now. She's got a full-time job, and she's enabling me to be here right now to put in all this work and get so much better.
And what would winning the CFFC Middleweight Championship do for your MMA career?
Absolutely explode it. Like Kyle is he's an ex-UFC vet. He's a really good test. He's like the gatekeeper for me before I make that jump to the big leagues. It's the biggest opportunity in my career.
And what can you tell? And obviously, you probably alluded to this, but what can you tell me about your opponent Kyle Dawkins, and how do you stack up against him and your skills?
You know, he's a very good grappler. I I think in the striking, I'm I'm well beyond him in everything, in speed, power, timing, and the amount of tools I have. Obviously, his grappling is incredible. Like I said before, I got contingencies for everything. I'm no slouch on the ground either. I haven't got a well. I've only had 6 fights. I haven't had a huge chance to display a lot of it, but with this opponent in this fight, that's inevitable. So I'm excited to show my full game.
And so, what can people expect from Keanan Patershuk on June 14th in Philadelphia?
Fireworks, man. I'm an exciting fighter. I hate boring fights. I love to finish fights. If I get my way, it's going to be a fast fight.
And and you said you're new in your career, correct? You're 5-1.
Yes, sir.
And if somebody has never seen Keanan Patershuk fight, what would be one word to describe your fighting style and why?
One word to describe my fighting style. um, I guess aggressive would be a good way to put it. Like I model a lot of what I do off. Like I love Mike Tyson, even though it's MMA's a mix. I'm in love with the way that man throws his hands. Yeah, that's a tough question. I'd have to think on it.
Just like aggressive wise.
Very much so, yeah. Like I'm not gonna stand there and take unnecessary damage, but you know, I like a fight. I like a back and forth, like two guys who are there ready to swing. I hate boring fights. Coming from a fan standpoint, before I was ever a fighter, I hate guys who will just lay on you and just kind of bleed out the clock and won't do anything. Can't stand it.
And so, how has been what has been the biggest piece of advices that your coaches have been giving you during this training camp, and what have they been telling you to hone in on?
Um, just to keep doing what I like. Everything I do well are things that are gonna pick this guy apart. So as long as I'm calm, cool, collected, I go in there and just flow and do what I'm good at. I'm gonna catch him.
And I heard you're from Canada, correct?
Yes, sir. From British
From
Columbia. Yeah.
British Columbia. What like obviously you've seen a lot of Canada is becoming really popular right now with in mixed martial arts right now.
Mm.
What does it mean for you, as I said earlier, to become the CFC middleweight champion, and also being from Canada and being able to show people from Canada that hey, you can come over to the United States and become a world champion in these types of promotions?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, no, I'm very proud to represent my country and my province and my city. It's been a long time since a Western Canadian has kind of made any kind of run in professional MMA and really got a lot of traction. So I'm very excited to be that guy to kind of storm the gates in my division. And I was a hockey player growing up. I was born and raised in a small town. I'm gonna have a whole country behind me when I get there.
And you said you were a hockey player growing up. Who was your favorite players growing up, and who was your favorite team?
Oh, I was a BC boy, so the Canucks are definitely my team. Still are. If I had to pick, I don't know if I can pick one favorite player, but like as a kid, I absolutely loved Pavel Bure.
Mm.
Yeah.
And so, how would this kind of show your skills against Kyle Dawkins to maybe show something to the UFC or to Bellator or to PFL, to all these big promotions, and saying that like this is what Keanan Patershuk is. Like, how would this event bring your MMA career to the next level?
Well, like I said, Kyle, being an ex UFC vet, that's kind of like one of the trademarks, one of the humps you have to get over for them to really notice you. And I plan on decisively finishing him.
And this is your first time fighting in Philadelphia, correct?
Yeah, I was actually booked to fight there last. I'm gonna say, ooh, it would be November or something like that, and got there, weighed in the morning of the fight. My opponent pulled out, so
How excited are you to fight in Philadelphia? Because Philadelphia is known for the city of brotherly love, and they love people showing up and fighting and being able to put everything on the line for each other. But
yeah,
how
man,
excited are you to fight in Philadelphia?
beyond words. Like, even though I didn't get to fight there last time, the amount of like respect I was greeted with from the time I arrived, even through the whole event, watching was incredible. Watching the crowd, it seems like it's such like a sports fans hub. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm very excited to compete in front of that crowd.
And if you had one final message to your fans, what would it be?
Just thank you so much for the support. It's super humbling, and I'm gonna come out and put on a great show for you guys.
Perfect. That's all that I got.